Your task will not be an easy one. Your enemy is well-trained, well-equipped, and battle-hardened.
There is not a liberal America and a conservative America. There is the United States of America.
Good night and good luck.
Hey, everybody. Look, the elephant in the room today is that everything Trump touches dies, and Elon should have known better. I'm recording this at 5:46 on Thursday afternoon. For the last 8 hours, Donald Trump and Elon Musk have been flaming the living shit out of each other on Twitter. It's amazing. It's hilarious. It's gone from, I hope Elon and I have a friendship still, to Elon basically saying Donald Trump's in the Epstein files. The roller coaster is ratcheting up and up and up. The White House is in a panic. I mean a panic. They are in absolute mortal terror right now where this is headed. Elon does know things. He does know some family secrets. I was just told by somebody about 5 minutes ago, they're most worried not about Trump and Epstein, of Elon saying something there. They're most worried about Elon disclosing things the super PAC did during the campaign. Oh, really? 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 Donald Trump is a political force of nature. But Donald Trump depends on two things, two normative forces inside the GOP that are the most powerful elements of his control of the party. The first is Fox News. Primus inter pares of this deal, perhaps, but a declining asset in control of the Trump base. The Fox audience is now somewhere around 70 years old, 68, 70 years old. On average, that means they're or even above that, which is fucking crazy. But the thing that's really given Trump control of the GOP is Twitter. The thing that reshaped campaigns in this country was Twitter. 2016 broke the media model because of Trump's ability to use Twitter. When Elon Musk bought Twitter, it recharged Trump's ability to control and coordinate his base. It gave him a superpower that Joe Biden or Kamala Harris could never, ever achieve. Elon put his thumb on the scale. He stacked the deck. He weighed the ability to get your message out, had to go through him. If he liked you, you got boosted. If he didn't like you, you got deboosted. For all their bullshit, I want a free speech platform, it was always bullshit. It was never real. It was never a real thing. But this fight that he and Trump are having now, I just did a thing earlier today, and I hope you go and watch it. It's called an open video letter to Elon Musk, how Elon can take revenge on Trump. The White House may be afraid that Elon's going to talk about what the super PAC did behind the scenes. But even more, I bet they're afraid that Elon's going to close the throttle on Twitter. I've encouraged Elon to do this, by the way. You want to show Trump you have power? You reset the algorithm on Twitter. You put your thumb back on the scale. You show Trump who's boss. Because if you take away Trump's ability to use Twitter as a blast furnace, as a blowtorch, as a flamethrower, where does he direct it most of all? At his political opponents inside the GOP. All those Republican members of the House and the Senate who always like, oh, I'm afraid of Trump. He's going to send his mob after me. Well, yes, he does that literally. He tries to murder you occasionally, and you still kiss sucking his ass. But that's an inexplicable character flaw in your disfavor, not mine. But Trump, without Twitter, is a guy who has to play by the old rules again. Truth Social is a dwarf platform. It is horseshit. It is a drop in the bucket compared to the footprint of Twitter. It is Donald Trump's parking lot at Mar-a-Lago filled up with people. Elon has the power to use Twitter to reset the narrative on the big, beautiful bill from hell. And I think that's where he could and should go in this fight. Why? Because Trump's signature achievement this year is a trade war that has fucked American businesses, families, farmers, and that's not changing. So he needs the tax bill to pass so he has something for the Republicans to run on in 26. Something to say, well, yeah, I supported Trump on the disastrous tariffs, but it was because we were going to get to the big, beautiful tax bill and that brought paradise to America. It's horseshit. It's not going to work. But at the end of the day, they don't have much else. They don't have much else. If Elon, who, by the way, is correct that the bill blows the deficits out of control for the history of forever, and it's correct that the bill is expanding the debt vastly and wildly, and he wants to kill it, it's right there, Chief. Use your power on the social media platform that you own and have your revenge. Now, one thing about this fight, and I want to just say this to everybody who's in the pro-democracy side, and that's right, left, center, everybody. This should remind you that Trump is a Potemkin village, that it's all fake, it's all a spectacle, it's all a bullshit carnival of lies and grift and scams. And you don't have to treat it all like it's the end of the world. Not every story needs to get jacked up into full-fledged outrage. Not everything is a successful distraction. The distraction that he tried this week with a new travel ban and investigating Joe Biden was to try to cover up this Elon thing. Sometimes you reach a critical mass where they can't bullshit their way out of it, where they can't lie their way out of it, where they can't say, oh, the woke leftist trans people are the real, where they can't get away with it, okay? That is one of these circumstances right now. This story is consuming the national media like very few others do. Trump's great gift has always been to change the subject by finding the scandal that he's in and creating a new scandal that's worse. You cannot make a scandal worse than this right now. There's no other storyline where the most powerful man in the world fights the richest man in the world. Especially when the richest man in the world controls one of the largest social media platforms in the world. And underneath the surface, Trump hasn't figured this out yet. That Elon Musk is an existential risk, not just a political risk. Why is that? Because Elon Musk is surrounded by a bunch of billionaires from Silicon Valley. Men who control vast power to reshape the American political narrative. Men who control sums of money that are unimaginable. Men who all like J.D. Vance a lot more than they like Donald Trump. Men who would much prefer a President Vance to a President Trump. They look at J.D. Vance as part of their movement. Post small d Democratic, post Republic, but completely in for this sort of Silicon Valley autocracy / neo-feudalism that people like Peter Thiel and Curtis Yarvin have fallen in love with. Those are Elon's allies. Some of Elon's allies are still in the White House. David Sachs, for one. Those people are going to be purged soon. And this will start rippling out into what was a source of validation and money for Donald Trump that cannot be overstated. There was a reason Tim Cook and Mark Zuckerberg and Jeff Bezos all went and bent the knee and stood there staring at Trump in awe and respect during the inauguration. They all thought it was better for shareholder value to kiss Trump's ass than to call his shit. they all believe that J.D. Vance does not present that risk to them. That J.D. Vance gets them, that he's with them, he's part of the team. To a large measure, he is. You never can really tell with Vance because he's such a snake. He's such a malleable golem of a human. He can change himself into whatever he wants. Actually, more like a Rakshasa than a golem. But and they'd be fine with Vance. They'd be fine with Vance. You know who else would be fine with Vance? Every member of the Senate, every member of the House, who is a Republican. Every single one of them. Because they think that Vance would be less risky than Trump. I can make that argument. I can also make an argument he's much more dangerous. But here's the thing. Elon now has a chance with his other Valley friends, with his other broligarchs, to cause Trump existential harm. What happens if tomorrow Twitter starts amplifying calls for the 25th Amendment to be invoked? I could make that case. Anyone could. We've all seen Trump talk, move. We've all seen these speeches and remarks where he just wanders off into the verbal wilderness. He's not competent. His character is not saving him anymore. The character he played on TV isn't saving him anymore. It's now an old man, discursive, rambling, sounds chaotic all the time. And so what happens if that 25th Amendment story doesn't get tamped down on Twitter, but it gets elevated? And people start asking the question, well, should we? I mean, Vance isn't that bad, right? You will end up driving a wedge inside this White House that would be devastating. There's a chance that Trump would even fire Vance if this started to be a national story. So definitely don't tweet J.D. Vance for president, invoke the 25th Amendment. Definitely don't tweet that. Don't. That would be bad and wrong. And I would encourage you to never, ever do something that's that bad and wrong. Oh, man. But look, one other thing about the folks who are watching this, again, in the pro-democracy movement, who often feel like we punch a brick wall day after day after day after day, take joy from this. Take some fun out of this, because it is fun and it is funny to watch these two unsympathetic characters beat the shit out of each other. Somebody said earlier, it's like Kendrick and Drake, only both of them are Drake. It's funny, even though we're in a time of enormous national crisis. I wrote a piece yesterday about why Trump's trying to distract from the Musk problem. It's also because the Musk problem is joined by a whole bunch of other problems. He's been absolutely humiliated by Ukraine. They launched one of those brilliant strategic attacks in modern military history. And they wouldn't tell Trump, because if they had, he would have told Putin. The economy is staggering under the weight of these trade insanities. And we've got predictions now of unemployment rising to the point where it's in the recession, in the SAHM rule, in the recession territory. We've got predictions that we're not going to end up with rate cuts. We've got predictions that job growth, we've seen this in March, in May, job growth was terrible. Oh, why? I can't imagine. What would that be? Inflation is still ticking along. He's in trouble with that. Iran, because of Trump's incompetence, is going to get a nuclear weapon. It's got now to the point where it's got about 460 kilograms, 1,000 or so pounds of 60% enriched uranium. It is not a high jump to weapons grade from there. It's a work of months, not years. You got Trump getting pranked by Putin over and over again on the Ukraine matter, just to loop back on that for 1 second. And you've got this tax bill in terrible trouble. Trump is having a shit week. It's a terrible, bad week for Trump. And the elephant in the room, guys, is that he is not impervious to political damage. He's not impossible to break, to defeat, to wound, to politically knock down. Use this moment with Elon. He is weak right now. He's in a panic right now. The White House is in an absolute state of mortification over what's happening. Have fun with it. Trump and Elon are tearing the Republican Party apart right now. And that, my friends, is the elephant in the room. Oh, hey, one more thing before I go. Lincoln Square has been growing like leaps and bounds, like crazy. Go over and subscribe to Lincoln Square. You'll get writing from me, from Stuart Stevens, from Joe Trippi, from a whole bunch of talented new young writers who are coming up, all of whom have joined us there, because in the pro-democracy space, we need people who will fight. And love us or hate us, you know we will fight. You know we will go out there and we will swing and swing and swing until we can't do it anymore. The video products coming out of Lincoln Square are excellent. We've got the strategy session. We're doing more and more lives every week. We're getting amazing guests. We're totally honored by the amazing folks that want to come on the strategy session and on Lincoln Square with us. And it's a conversation that is really growing and expanding. I encourage you to go over there. I also will selfishly encourage you to go to my Substack and subscribe there if you'd like. Some free content, a little bit behind the paywall, but mostly free. And that's a place where I built a small community of folks that really have changed my life in a lot of ways. Great conversations with really smart people about the things that I take moments out of my 17 jobs to write about, and I'm honored by the response to it. As always, you can support us at the Lincoln Project. We are getting ready to go into Virginia this year. We're going to be fighting the governor's race. We're going to be working in New Jersey this year, fighting in that governor's race. We're going to be doing some work in the Virginia legislative side, because we believe that if we take those two states and show that we've stopped the Trump momentum, that it's a real good setup for 2026, where we're going to go after between 20 and 25 congressional seats. Unlike the D-Trip, who wants to win 6 seats, we're like, no, that's not enough. We need a majority, not just a narrow majority. I want to see Mike Johnson hand that fucking gavel over. I want to see Donald Trump know that every one of his shitty human beings that works for him is going to get dragged up in front of committees over and over and over again. I want to know that we're going to win enough seats to shut this Project 2025 shit down. It's a long battle. It's an important battle. We do a lot of stuff around here, I know, so it gets confusing sometimes, like what lane is what lane. But we appreciate you all. We'll talk to you again next time. And that, folks, again, has been this week's Elephant in the Room. Thanks again.
Good night and good luck.